Hello everybody and welcome back to Creature Archives. This is Survive, Adapt, Evolve, the series where we explore how creatures from both real life and fantasy might fare in entirely different worlds. Today we're unleashing one of InGen's most deadly genetic misfires into one of the most dangerous ecosystems in cinema history. Today we are asking the question, could Mutadons survive Peter Jackson's Skull Island? Bred in secrecy and abandoned after a catastrophic breach, these hybrid predators were never meant to survive. Yet not only did they survive, but they thrived as one of Isle St. Hubert's top predators. Now we'll see how they stack up against an island ruled by ancient giants and relentless death at every turn. Will the Mutadon's engineered ferocity give it the edge it needs, or will Skull Island's brutal ecosystem crush this mutant experiment? Let's find out in this episode of Creature Archives. Before we unleash it into the wilds of Skull Island, let's examine what makes the Mutadon such a formidable threat. Engineered by InGen through the hybridization of Velociraptor and Pteranodon, Mutadons are savage, unnatural fusions of speed, cunning, and aerial agility. These predators stand around 6 to 7 feet tall, stretch 16 feet in length, and boast an impressive 30-foot wingspan. Weighing in at 550 pounds, they're large and muscular enough to carry off prey, yet still light enough to stay mobile in the air. They possess limited powered flight, using their wings for gliding, aerial ambushes, and complex mid-air maneuvers, giving them a deadly advantage in vertical terrain and in enclosed spaces. Mutadons retain the Velociraptor's signature sickle claw, ideal for slashing and pinning prey, and combine it with the Pteranodon's piercing beak. Uniquely, they also preserve powerful tooth-lined jaws, granting them the ability to rip, tear, and crush. Their entire body is built for rapid strikes and overwhelming close-range assault, but without a doubt, their most dangerous weapon is their mind. These hybrids demonstrate high levels of intelligence, mirroring the enhanced cognition seen in Jurassic Park's Velociraptors. They hunt in coordinated packs, adapt to unfamiliar environments, and problem-solve in real time. Based on their behavior, it's likely that Mutadons possess intelligence on par with, if not exceeding that of dolphins and primates, making them some of the most tactical and unpredictable predators InGen has ever created. But surviving Skull Island takes more than smarts and savagery. To determine how well the Mutadon could survive here, we'll evaluate it across 4 key categories: habitat adaptability, dietary compatibility, competition and predation, and reproductive success. Each category will be rated out of 10, leading to a final survival score. And stick around after this because we'll also explore how the Mutadon might evolve over time to better suit the savage ecosystem of Skull Island. Habitat adaptability. To understand how well the Mutadon could adapt to Skull Island, we first need to examine its home turf, the island St. Hubert. Located in the Lesser Antilles near the equator, just 226 miles east of French Guinea, St. Hubert is a large tropical island shaped by volcanic activity and geothermal energy. Its equatorial location gives it a hot, humid, and oxygen-rich climate, with conditions thought to mirror Earth's environment over 60 million years ago. The island features dense rainforest, rocky outcrops, and a vast underground tunnel system, a complex vertical landscape well suited to the needs of both terrestrial and aerial species. Originally developed as an early research site for Jurassic Park, it was later repurposed by Masrani Global for hybrid experimentation. After being abandoned in 2010 following a catastrophic containment breach, the island was left to rewild, creating a unique ecosystem populated by experimental dinosaurs. Among these, the Mutadons thrived, demonstrating they are more than capable of surviving long-term in a harsh tropical wilderness with limited human influence. Now let's compare that to Skull Island, a place that takes everything about St. Hubert and dials it up to 11. Skull Island exists in a perpetual state of evolutionary chaos. It features towering mountain ranges, deep ravines, jungle canopies, open plateaus, and murky swamps, all compressed into a relatively small landmass brimming with violent weather, frequent seismic activity, and hyper-aggressive megafauna. The climate is tropical, matching St. Hubert pretty closely in heat and humidity, but is far less stable and much more violent in its seasonal shifts. Fortunately for the Mutadon, many of Skull Island's biomes are highly compatible with its physiology. Its ability to glide and perform limited flight makes it well suited for navigating vertical terrain like cliffs, ravines, and tree canopies. Structures like the ruins and abandoned human complexes on both islands would also feel familiar to a creature evolved to exploit artificial environments. Its prior success in both open and enclosed areas suggests it can find safe roost and ambush points in even the most complex biomes. The Mutadon's native habitat already demands survival in a hot, wet, vertical, and dangerous environment, one that shares many key features with Skull Island. While the latter is more extreme in scale and threat level, the Mutadon's mobility, intelligence, and adaptability make it extremely well equipped to handle the island's physical challenges. This scores the Mutadons a habitat adaptability score of 9 out of 10. Dietary compatibility. As a carnivorous hybrid of Velociraptor and Pteranodon, the Mutadon is a specialized predator, designed to strike fast, hit hard, and escape cleanly. But even a perfect hunter needs the right kind of prey to survive. So how does its native hunting ground, St. Hubert, compare to the deadly ecosystems of Skull Island? St. Hubert, located in the equatorial Caribbean, is a hot, humid, and oxygen-rich environment, ideal for supporting large prehistoric life. Following the island's abandonment, its jungles became home to a thriving community of genetically modified dinosaurs. The Mutadon likely preyed on a variety of species including smaller herbivores, juvenile ceratopsians, and even other carnivores like velociraptors. Given its ability to ambush from above and work as a coordinated pack, it's clear the Mutadon could secure food across a broad range of prey sizes, from small pack animals to mid-sized dinosaurs. Now let's look at Skull Island, which is even richer in biomass but far more hostile. Skull Island is home to creatures that are strikingly close evolutionary and ecological equivalents of the dinosaurs this predator would normally hunt. From massive long-necked herbivores resembling sauropods to swift bipedal grazers, to a diverse array of mid-sized animals comparable to hadrosaurs and smaller theropods, nearly every familiar dinosaur niche is filled by a parallel lineage uniquely adapted to this island's harsh environment. On paper, these creatures align well with what the Mutadon is accustomed to hunting. However, Skull Island is a place where even the prey fights back. Many of these species have undergone extreme evolutionary adaptations, armored hides, enhanced aggression, and reactive escape behaviors. What would be a routine ambush on St. Hubert might become a riskier engagement here. Still, this abundance of life plays to the Mutadon's strengths. Its gliding ability gives it vertical access to prey others can't reach, and its beak and jaw combo let it tear through a variety of flesh types with brutal efficiency. It's not limited to ground-level hunting, it can dive from cliffs, perch in canopies, or launch from the ground. Crucially, its high intelligence and coordinated pack hunting tactics would allow it to outsmart prey and control complex hunting scenarios, making it a formidable predator in Skull Island's varied ecosystems. With swamps, jungles, open plains, and mountainous regions all available, it would have no shortage of biomes to stalk and dominate. While some prey on Skull Island may pose greater challenges due to their hyper-evolved traits, the sheer volume and diversity of compatible life forms, many of which mirror the body types found on St. Hubert, ensure that a skilled, versatile predator like the Mutadon would have no shortage of hunting opportunities or steady access to food, scoring the Mutadon a Dietary Compatibility rating of 8 out of 10. Competition and predation. If there's one category that could truly test the Mutadon's survival, it's this one. Skull Island is not just home to compatible prey, it's crawling with apex predators, many of which make even InGen's worst creations look tame. While the Mutadon is a vicious ambush hunter with aerial agility and lethal intelligence, it's entering a battlefield already claimed by creatures that have been evolving for millions of years in a pressure cooker of violence. Let's start with the most obvious threat, the Venatosaurus rex, or the V-Rex. A descendant of Tyrannosaurus rex, this predator is bulkier, more aggressive, and perfectly adapted to Skull Island's steep, uneven terrain. As one of the island's top apex predators, it's simply too large, too fast, and too durable for a Mutadon to confront head-on. Even a coordinated pack would struggle to bring one down, and the risk of total annihilation in the attempt would far outweigh the reward. The V-Rex dominates the open clearings and jungle floors, territory the Mutadon would need to navigate with extreme caution. And then there's the Mutadon's ecological equivalent, the Venatosaurus, Skull Island's pack-hunting theropod. There are two known subspecies. Venatosaurus impavidus, the smaller, faster subspecies, falls just below the Mutadon's size, tilting the advantage in the Mutadon's favor. With superior aerial mobility, heightened intelligence, and precision ambush tactics, a single Mutadon could outmaneuver and outthink an impavidus in most encounters. And when operating in coordinated packs, Mutadons would have little trouble dispatching isolated impavidus individuals, or even packs, turning hit-and-run skirmishes into efficient takedowns. But Venatosaurus savadicus is a different story entirely. Larger, more heavily built, and far more dangerous, these predators hunt in coordinated packs with ruthless efficiency. Agile and aggressive, they're perfectly adapted to Skull Island's dense, chaotic terrain. Against Savadicus, Mutadon would stand little chance in a head-on fight. Survival would depend on stealth, flight, and intelligence, avoiding direct confrontation. And then, of course, looming over everything else is Kong. To the Mutadons, he's less a rival predator and more a natural disaster in motion. He isn't regular prey nor true competition, but anything he perceives as a threat or intrusion into his territory is met with overwhelming force. At the first glimpse or scent of the giant ape, most Mutadons would instinctively flee, darting into the air or vanishing into the jungle before he even registers their presence. However, if one were ever foolish or desperate enough to provoke him, the result would be swift and brutal. Kong's raw strength, sharp intelligence, and territorial fury would tear through even a coordinated pack. Fortunately, the Mutadon's intelligence would serve it well. After witnessing or surviving just one encounter, they'd quickly learn to avoid Kong's territory altogether. For them, the only winning strategy is simple: stay out of his way. As for competition, it's everywhere. The island teems with mid-sized predators, everything from giant arthropods to aerial threats like colonies of Pteranodon mordax. Even if the Mutadon finds a niche in the cliffs or canopies, there will always be something trying to take it from them. Ultimately, the Mutadon's greatest defense is its mind. Its intelligence allows it to map out threat zones, develop avoidance strategies, and shift territories when danger grows too great. While it has the tools to navigate Skull Island's brutal food web, it exists firmly in the middle of the hierarchy. It can potentially outwit smaller predators and evade larger ones, but in a direct fight, many of the island's apex creatures could easily overpower them. Only its brain and agility keep it from being completely overwhelmed. This scores Mutadons a competition and predation rating of 7 out of 10. Reproductive success. When it comes to establishing a long-term foothold on Skull Island, it's not just about surviving, it's about raising the next generation. For the Mutadon, success depends on its ability to find safe nesting grounds, defend its young, and pass on its hunting knowledge in a world where danger lurks behind every tree. If their behavior resembles that of Jurassic Park's raptors, Mutadons likely form strong family units or small packs centered around breeding pairs. Nests would be defended aggressively, with adults exhibiting high territoriality around nesting zones. Hatchlings wouldn't be left to fend for themselves, instead they would be nurtured, protected, and taught essential hunting strategies, learning to glide, ambush, and coordinate from their parents and packmates. This kind of generational knowledge transfer would be crucial here. On St. Hubert, the strategy would have worked well. The island had vertical terrain and abandoned structures ideal for nesting. There were threats, yes, but the relative isolation and limited number of large predators would have allowed these tight-knit packs to raise their young in relative safety. But on Skull Island, the odds are stacked far higher. The island's jungles are bursting with egg-eating creatures, from giant arthropods to aggressive scavengers. Even the skies aren't safe. Predators like the previously mentioned Pteranodon mordax could raid cliffside nests, while venomous creatures and burrowers could target hatchlings from below. The chaotic weather, frequent storms, flash floods, and landslides further increase the risk of nest failure. Still, not all is lost. The Mutadon's ability to nest in high isolated places, combined with its aerial access and intelligence, would give it an important edge. It could choose locations that most predators can't reach, such as high cliffs, jungle canopy platforms, or fortified ruins. And once hatched, the young wouldn't be helpless, they'd be trained, protected, and brought into the pack, increasing their odds of survival dramatically. The Mutadon's social structure and parental dedication give it a real chance to raise young successfully, even on a hostile island like Skull Island. With the right nesting sites and pack dynamics, it could establish a breeding population. Only the smartest and most resourceful groups would endure. This scores the Mutadons a reproductive success rating of 7 out of 10. Final survival score, 7.75 out of 10. This score reflects a creature that, while not an apex predator, is more than capable of carving out a niche in one of the most hostile ecosystems in fiction. Its intelligence, aerial mobility, and ambush tactics allow it to exploit vertical terrain, prey others can't reach, and avoid many direct confrontations. Though the island's brutal competition and environmental hazards would keep its population in check, the Mutadon is smart enough and adaptable enough to survive on Skull Island, so long as it can manage to stay one step ahead of the monsters around it. If you've been enjoying the video so far, make sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date with more creature breakdowns and speculative survival scenarios like this one. And I've got some exciting news. CreatureArchives now has an official members-only Discord server. By joining any membership tier, you'll gain access to the community where you can chat directly with me and other fans, help shape future episodes, and even get exclusive sneak peeks at upcoming content. It's a great place to geek out over speculative evolution, world building, and all things creature related. Now, back to the video. Speculative evolution. Before we dive into the speculative evolution, as always, I've got to give a quick shout out to the incredible artists Delta Reaper 54 and Applebread, who brought these evolved designs to life. If you like what you see, definitely check them out. Their info will be in the description below. Beneath the surface of Skull Island lies a second world, one shaped not by sunlight or sky, but by silence and darkness. When the first wave of Mutadons scattered across the island, not all took to the cliffs and canopy. Driven by territorial conflicts, storms, or sheer misfortune, a few were forced into the island's labyrinth ravines, narrow fissures in the earth that descended into the darkness. Down there was no wind to catch, no sky to soar through, just fungus-choked tunnels, vertical stone walls, and the endless hunger of the things that lived in the dark. Over countless generations, these exiled predators adapted to their new subterranean home, and became something else entirely. Meet Mutadon Hamu larva, or as the native people of Skull Island the Tagatu call it, Ratu Panku, the Hooked Wraith. Roughly 12 feet long and 6 feet tall, the Hooked Wraith is a master of the shadows. What were once wings have transformed into deadly weapons, recurved hooks of hardened keratin and bone. These deadly appendages allow it to scale sheer vertical walls with ease, hang motionless in complete silence, and strike down with brutal precision on unsuspecting prey below. Its skin is nearly colorless, dull gray and streaked with fungal green, blending seamlessly with the limestone cave walls. Along its back and shoulders, patches of faint bioluminescent pulse like dying embers. Its eyes have dulled almost to uselessness. In their place, it relies on a system of soft rhythmic clicks, echolocation pulses that bounce off cavern walls and paint the world in sound. Coiled against a stalactite or tucked into the upper corners of a cavern wall, it hangs in total silence. Then, with no warning, it drops, sickle first, talons open, beak bared. Impact alone is often enough to cripple smaller prey. The finishing blow comes seconds later as hooked limbs pin the victim and raptor-like hindclaws shred vital tissue. Its primary diet includes the giant arthropods that infest Skull Island's caves. Nightmarish, armored-plated insects the size of dogs, but it won't hesitate to take down cave-dwelling lizards, bats, or anything unlucky enough to fall into the wrong crevice. Pitfall traps and narrow ravines become hunting grounds, where the wraith simply waits for gravity to do half the work. Unlike its ancestors, it is now largely solitary. Even hatchlings don't last long in groups. Nestled in ceiling alcoves or hidden behind fungal growths, only the most aggressive juvenile survives, often by eating its own siblings before it's even finished growing. To the Tagatsu people, it is not merely an animal, it's a spirit. According to their legend, it was once a sky spirit that was cast down into the earth, cursed to live in stone and silence, feeding on the souls of the unworthy. Even the bravest hunters avoid the cavern mouths after nightfall, whispering prayers and scattering spores to keep its gaze away. Whatever it once was, the hooked wraith is now a master of the underworld. It doesn't fly, it doesn't chase, it simply waits. And by the time you realize it's there, it's already too late. Some creatures haunt the skies, others haunt the forest, but on Skull Island, the intense and unforgiving ecosystem pushes life to grow bigger, stronger, and deadlier than anywhere else on Earth. Among these giants, there's one predator that blends strength with speed and wicked intelligence. Meet Mutadon ocypteryx, or as the Tagatsu call it, Tenkorak Lyar, the Skullwing. Standing 15 feet tall at the shoulder and over 33 feet long, with a wingspan exceeding 70 feet, the Skullwing's appearance is dominated by its uniquely skeletal structure. Its elongated skull is heavily reinforced and tapered into jagged crest, creating a fearsome skull-faced profile. Deep-set eye sockets lie beneath pronounced bony ridges, casting dark shadows that give the creature a haunting death mask-like visage. Its body is sheathed in jagged osteoderms, thick irregular bony plates layered across the back, shoulders, and flanks, that resemble exposed bones more than traditional armor. These plates form a natural exoskeleton, cracked and worn like ancient fossilized remains, giving the creature an eerie, almost undead look. This bone-like armor is not just for defense, it creates the impression of a living skeleton, striking fear into all who glimpse it. The ribcage and spine are reinforced by a lattice of strut-like bones and internal ridges, allowing the Skullwing to absorb tremendous impact forces during its powerful glides and dives. Its wing arms are massively thickened, ending in blunt talon-like clubs built for grappling or smashing prey in terrain alike. Each glide is less a flight and more a crashing blow, supported by this robust skeletal framework. A muscular whip-strong tail armored with bony plates can shatter tree trunks with a single swing. Its beak is thick and saw-edged like a butcher's cleaver, with a second row of sharp curved teeth behind it designed to shred flesh and crush bone in a deadly two-stage bite. Highly intelligent, the Skullwing combines its terrifying physicality with strategic hunting. It hunts in small, coordinated family groups of 2 to 4 individuals, using ambush tactics to manipulate prey and overwhelm targets. They work together to fell trees, herd animals into choke points, or roll boulders down cliffs to crush or disorient victims before attacking. Along these cliffside territories, Skullwings collect and arrange bones into ceremonial piles, a ritual whose exact meaning remains unknown but is believed to relate to dominance displays or courtship behavior. In the greater ecosystem of Skull Island, this creature fills the same niche as the Venatosaurus but on a far grander scale. It competes fiercely for hunting grounds, and while avoiding fully grown V-Rexes, has been known to challenge weakened individuals for fresh kills. To the Tagatsu, the Skullwing is more than a predator. It is a force of nature and a living symbol of ancient sky wars fought by beasts and gods. Legends say it was the final weapon of a winged titan, cast down to the cliffs to guard the island and punish trespassers. The name Tenkorak Lyar, the Skullwing, reflects its chilling skeletal armor and fearsome presence. Far from the blood-soaked battlegrounds of the lowlands, high in the elevated jungles and mist-veiled cliffs, something different has taken root. Among the ruins of a forgotten age and the woven canopy paths of the Tagatsu, a new kind of predator has emerged. One not defined by muscle or ferocity, but by thought. Meet Mutadon sapien, or as the Tagatsu call them, Hati Rimba, the mind of the jungle. The original Mutadons were already gifted with fragments of terrifying intelligence, an inheritance from their Velociraptor DNA. But this lineage did something remarkable. It doubled down on its most dangerous asset. It leaned into its mind. While other creatures grew claws or fangs or armor, this branch of the Mutadon line evolved memory, patience, and cognition. Measuring 13 feet from snout to tail and standing just over 6 feet tall, and boasting an 18-foot wingspan, these gliders are built for stealth and stability. Their wings, while no longer suited for true flight, act as massive balancing sails, allowing them to leap and soar between canopy levels with eerie grace. But what truly sets them apart is not their body, it's their mind. Their skulls have expanded dramatically, forebrains swollen, brows furrowed, eyes forward-facing with a piercing, calculating gaze. Once blunt wing digits have become dexterous clawed hands, capable of grasping, weaving, and even carving. Their hind legs still retain the classic raptor talons, and the sharp beak jaws of their pterosaur ancestry remain, but these are now surgical tools rather than just blunt weapons. Unlike their cave-dwelling cousins or their feral ancestors, these evolved Mutadons don't sleep in cliffside dens. Instead, they build. Suspended high in the jungle canopy, hidden from ground-bound monsters, they construct massive hanging structures, sky baskets woven from vines, branches, and fungal cords. This behavior is reminiscent of the real-life weaver birds, known for their intricate suspended nests that provide protection from predators and environmental hazards. Bones, shells, food caches, and even primitive tools are stored in specific sections. The walls are often interlaced with glowing fungus, arranged in repeating patterns. Some researchers believe these are symbolic, part territorial marker, part language, part ritual. Others suspect these fungi may be cultivated intentionally, acting like a primitive biological lantern network. In addition, these creatures have been observed using tools, cracking open armored prey with rocks, sharpening sticks into rudimentary spears, and even using leaves and bark to construct decoys. They'll set branches as noise traps or roll stones into paths to trip or slow pursuing predators. When prepared for a stealth raid, they've been seen coating themselves in mud or charcoal to mask their scent. Behavior is not learned, but seemingly passed on from one generation to the next. Even more astonishing is their growing sense of identity and culture. Mutadon sapiens have been documented adorning themselves with naturally dyed cloth, woven necklaces, feathers, and even bone masks. Others carry carved or decorated heirlooms, symbol of status, memory, or perhaps lineage. And then, of course, there's the matter of the Tagatu. Relations between the two species are unique. In rare documented instances, Mutadon sapiens have aided Tagatu villages, mimicking the calls of predators to warn of danger, or scratching crude warning symbols into bark near village perimeters. Sometimes they trade, leaving bones, feathers, or strange woven charms in exchange for cured meats or crafted spears. One tale speaks of a Tagatu hunter who found an injured juvenile caught in a snare. He left it food in a woven blanket, and then walked away. Weeks later, when he returned to that spot, a crudely crafted charm woven from jungle silk had been left behind. Tagatu shamans even claim to have seen these creatures watching from above during funerals, sitting perfectly still, eyes lowered, seemingly in mourning. No one knows how far their intelligence truly reaches, what thought passes behind those eyes, or what dreams take shape in the flicker of their bioluminescent nest. But one thing has become clear. Mutadon sapiens may be one of the first non-human species on Skull Island to not only survive through instinct, but to thrive through culture. In their skywoven homes, with their painted bodies and passed down heirlooms, they are not just enduring, they are building a civilization. Thanks for watching this episode of Survive, Adapt, Evolve. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss any future content. And a special shout out to channel members, thank you so much for your support. And until next time, stay curious, and I'll see you all in the next video.